Ready? Y'all ready for this?
Oh, you ready for
Y'all
this?
ready for this?
We're ready to go. It kind of sounds like it sounds like that song. Are you ready for this?
Are you ready for this? Are y'all ready for this? I'm just gonna let it roll. Yeah, I had to do that. I absolutely had to do that. I don't know why. I just got a little inspired, and Steve had to fix his hair. So, welcome to the porch, the Sports Porch. We are here in Pittsburgh. We are
Sorry about
live
that.
all over the world. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitter. We are live on LinkedIn, X, YouTube. And we are also live right now, live on radiopgh.com.
You missed the pre-show.
Live in your living room.
Our flagship radio station here in Pittsburgh. And I just put that link in the comments. If you can't watch us on social media, which I would not advise while you're driving in the car, and I will never admit to watching an Eagles game or something like that.
I text you guys from the car.
Do you?
Mhm.
Are you a text and driver?
No.
Okay. So
No.
anyway, and of course we drop this podcast right after the show. Right after the show, we drop the podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. And
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
you can
Mhm.
always visit us at theporchislive.com, theporchislive.com.
Theporchislive.com.
We love the visits.
And in the event that anybody wonders what the hell I am wearing, we're going to talk about that in a little bit because we have some pictures we want to show you.
We
and,
won't do that
Oh.
until DG checks.
Yeah, as soon as DG checks in.
And if you're listening live on the radio, we're sorry about the pictures. You'll have to come to our
you'll
live.
broadcast.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, guys, listen, you can also call us. We have one line open as usual, 412-805-7236.
Good time to get in. We got an open line.
I'm going to start the broadcast right now by asking this question, boys. Are the Steelers a playoff team? Let me hear it. Are the Steelers a playoff team? Because right now they're 5-3. They're technically in second place in the AFC North. They have scored the least amount of points
in the league?
Yes. Well,
Oh
in
my God.
in the AFC North. And they however they've also given up the most amount of points. And we've talked about their defense before. So are they here you go. Toss the fans a bone. There you go. DG. So
Is that for real? They've scored the least amount of points and given up the most amount of points?
in the AFC North. I haven't looked at the
Oh,
entire
okay.
schedule.
Yeah,
but,
that couldn't have been right.
they've scored 133 points.
Okay.
That's better than I thought.
133 points. So I don't know what that translates into per game.
It's math, Chris.
I know it is, but I need a calculator for that. So 183 points over their 8 games.
It's about 14.
It's 16.625, or as we used to say in the banking industry, 16 5/8 points.
You could also say 16 and a quarter.
No, they use decibels now.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Decimals or decibels?
Okay.
We kick up the decibels here at the porch.
I look, you guys are already off track.
Well, the question
where
is,
was
are the Steelers a playoff team?
Yes.
Steve, Yinzer fan number 1.
Oh, this is such an easy question.
And the answer is?
Of course they are. Look, they played horrible. They played terrible, and yet they're 5-3. So they're going to get better, and they play worse teams. Therefore, they're going to be a playoff team.
Okay.
I have to admit, I do think
It's mostly about the schedule, by the way.
Yeah, I have to admit, I personally don't think the Steelers are a very good football team. But
Thank you, Donna.
in looking at the schedule, I have them coming in at 10-7, and I think that'll be good enough for the 6th seed or maybe the 5th.
I had them at 9-8, but I think I had them like at 500 at this point. So I think they're ahead of where I think they're going to be, and I do actually believe they will beat the Bengals one of those 2 games, and that'll be what really puts them over the edge.
I don't think they will, but I think
Dude, they will.
I don't think they will, but I do think
They have the last 5 years.
Yeah, but one year it was like a missed extra point by the Bengals that happened.
It was still a win.
And also, like the Bengals, though, like,
it was just like, well, if Dak Prescott didn't step out of bounds, they would have won against the Eagles this week. You can't say that.
Well, I mean, but what I'm saying is, I think the Bengals are on a trajectory at this point to finish the year like 12-5.
No, they're not going to win. They're not going to win that many games in a row.
12-5. They're going to go 7-2 the rest of the way.
They will not go 7-2.
They're what they beat the 49ers, they beat the Bills. I mean, they're beating everybody.
They have a pretty tough schedule.
They have a really tough schedule.
Well, let's see.
7-2.
Texans,
if they go 7-2, they'll probably win the Super Bowl.
Actually, they don't have that tough of a schedule. Texans. Now we know
Texans are better than advertised.
Right. Texans, Ravens, Steelers, Jags,
Ravens, Steelers,
Colts,
Jags,
Steelers, Chiefs, Browns,
Vikings, Browns.
Let me get it out.
I'm just saying, I'm just repeating the teams that are good there. You name 5 good teams.
DG's in the house. We knew that already. Don't forget the Steelers love to under.
Well, yeah, that's an excellent point, David. You're right about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they do play down to the level of talent they're playing against.
I'm going to get my answer in here because I like to ask questions that I already know the answer to. And the answer for me is no, they're not a playoff team. And the reason I say they're not a playoff team has nothing to do with the schedule or what their record is going to be. It has everything to do with the fact that when I look at this team, they're not a playoff team. And if they make the playoffs because somebody else, shits the bed, and the schedule and the tiebreakers allow it, they are going to get the absolute crap kicked out of them. That is my feeling. And
that was not the question. The question was, will they get their butts kicked if they make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Well, that would be depending upon who they play in the playoffs.
Okay, hockey Jesus. So, we can look at things in a lot of different ways.
I just want to know who you think is going to jump over the Steelers and take the playoff spot that they're currently in.
I don't know. I don't go in depth like that.
Right. Well, I do. And the only team that really can do that would be the Jets and the Chargers, and they happen to be playing tonight. So one of them is going to knock somebody out tonight. So if the Jets hold pace with the Steelers and go to 5-3, which they won't, and the Chargers win, if the Chargers win, then they're 4-4 and the Jets are 4-4, and then they have 2 games over those teams. So,
yeah, well, you think way too much about this.
I'm just telling you that's the way I think about it, because you have to be a little nuanced with it. Do I think they're a good team? No. Do I think they will be a good playoff team? No. Do I think they can win a playoff game? Yes, I actually do if they play the right team.
And so the eye test that we talk about all the time,
you talk about all the time.
No. Schwab brought that one up.
That is true.
He was all about that. He was talking about the defense last
That's
week.
right. Yeah.
So the eye test to me tells me that they so I agree that what you're saying is true. This was a double question. It was really 2 questions, but the same question. And DG chimes in again. I think there would have to be 3 AFC North teams to make the playoffs for the Steelers to be in. So
that's exactly the way it is today.
Here's the way I look at it. Steelers are going to beat the Packers. They're going to beat the Cardinals. And they're going to beat the Patriots.
They'll lose one of those games.
That's 3 wins.
They will.
That's 8 wins. And
just let him get his shit in here. Good Lord.
That's 8 wins. And then they have to win 2 of the remaining 6 games. I think that gets them to 10-7. They're going to make it.
Okay. Well, hey.
See, I think that they'll go 3-3 in the last 6 games, and they'll lose one of these next 3.
So, okay. So
my feeling though is if they do, that's a problem.
Yeah, they're going to have to rely on a tiebreaker, which may or may not go in their favor.
Right. So they're going to have to beat a really good team like the Bengals or the Ravens towards the end.
Well, I already told you they are going to beat the Bengals, one of those teams.
Yeah, we'll see that. We'll see if that happens. I mean, I hope they do.
Maybe not.
So then the other side of my question, since you've answered the question schedule wise, all that kind of stuff, when you look at their roster and the way they play, take the schedule out of it. Are they a playoff team? Is Kenny Pickett the quarterback you want to see in a playoff game if you're somebody else who wants to just watch playoff football?
No,
Are
absolutely.
you happy to see him up there?
No, absolutely not.
There you go.
But that's not the question. The question is, are they a playoff team? Yes. The reason they're a playoff team is because their defense becomes opportunistic and it keeps them in games. And Kenny, for some reason, has this ability in the fourth quarter to be able to win those games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if they come out against Kansas City or Buffalo, maybe not Buffalo, because Buffalo is not as advertised, I don't think, or Miami, let's say, and they get down by 3 scores, they'll be toast. They can't make that up. This team is not geared to do that.
This team is not built to come back.
No,
Canada.
Yeah.
they're not. They really aren't. So if that happens, then yeah, it's going to be an absolute. Actually, you might see Kenny Pickett actually throw over 300 yards, and they would still lose by 2 touchdowns.
I don't think he's capable of throwing for 300 yards in the NFL.
Well, that's not what Tomlin wants him to do in the NFL.
I know it's ridiculous.
If they had Patrick Mahomes, he would ask Mahomes to go out there and throw for 225 yards.
I know.
Just don't throw an interception.
I know that's horrible.
It's got to take the gloves off.
He's not going to.
Okay, next question. Is Pickens an idiot?
Easily, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, come on. You can't pout about getting 2 catches for -2 yards. I mean, I'm sorry, but Deontay Johnson took that game over. Did Kelsey pout when he got 4 targets in the game that they won against the Dolphins? No, he didn't. You know why? Because he went out there and played, and he was the guy who was sucking everybody towards him. He's got to realize that. Like, he's the feature guy now. So that's who teams want to stop. So that means Deontay is going to be open. But that doesn't mean that maybe the next week they decide to take away him. And let's face it, when Freiermuth comes back, more targets to somebody else, but less coverage on him. So maybe he does end up getting more targets that way. He doesn't think about the long term. He only thinks about himself in the moment.
Right.
And that's what he needs to fix.
And
Right.
for those of you who don't know, just to catch our listening audience up, after the game, Mr. Pickens apparently was the first person to leave the dressing room. And he also went to social media, scrubbed it all, removed any Steelers pictures, removed any follows of any Steelers players, including Kenny Pickett and Deontay Johnson, and then put on a picture of him playing in high school, and just had the post with the word saying "Free me." He has since gone back to the old profile. So, look, it's all just a bunch of idiocy, which a lot of these guys are doing these days.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say this. I mean, like, we're certainly not at the point right now where, where we're saying, like, we got to get rid of this guy.
No.
However, he does seem to be adding slowly, piece by piece, that goes in that direction. Which isn't good.
I think you're right. I think there's still time to dial him back in for sure. And I do, David, I did like what Hines Ward have to say. It's not about you. It's more about the team. And hopefully he'll get some perspective from this, hopefully speed bump in the road. But I don't know. I mean, some people just are not able. You're not able to help.
I think to show this kind of, and I heard somebody on the radio talking about this, about how they didn't care about it and it really doesn't make a difference and all of this kind of stuff because that's the way that they cope. And it's like, look, no, that's not the way they cope. That's the way they complain now. And so social media has become this outlet for these players to voice their grievances about what's going on. And so you read into that, and the what I'm reading into that is this guy is selfish, period. He's selfish. And what that tells me is he's in it for the money. And Schwaber and I were talking about this.
Or immature, or just very immature.
I think he is selfish and immature, but I don't think
for the money.
I don't think he's a lost cause. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I think when you're at this point in your life and you're acting that way, it's harder. It gets harder as time goes on. And the real question is, so Hines Ward says, it's not about you. Well, Hines Ward isn't in the locker room.
Did he say that to George Pickens himself?
No, he was asking an interview somewhere. And he brought out, and by the way, Hines Ward was a massive complainer too.
Well, yeah, that's true. But
I mean, he's not actually, he's
great.
He has
he's
his
gracious.
own issues.
He's grateful now. So
yeah, he is.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he had to learn that, and hopefully that would be a good guy for Pickens to emulate, because let's face it, we need him.
Mike Lawrence does have a good question here, because somebody needs to talk to him. And who's it going to be? Like, is it Mike Tomlin? Is it Canada? Is it Kenny Pickett? Is it Deontay Johnson?
Yes.
Who's going to talk to him?
I think Tomlin is the number one guy there for sure. I mean, he's the head coach. He can go to him and say, look, I know you had a terrible game statistic wise, but we won the game, and this is why we won the game. We need you to keep your head in the game because you're going to be the guy.
Yeah. And whatever you do not throw furniture off the 30th floor of a building.
Or get concussed by a Bengal.
Or not pay your child support.
Right.
I love this,
because that's a slippery slope.
Those are actually the relatively light things that Antonio.
I know. Those are the
yes they are. We're keeping it PG-13 here on the porch tonight.
I like Karen's comment here. The whole damn world has gone to hell in a handbasket, done on purpose by a very few rich, power hungry, money hungry, control freak communists. There's so much to unpack
Karen.
here.
I feel like
I hope Karen feels better about that.
Karen, I feel like
get that out, Karen.
I feel like Karen's
why
on
we're
the
here
wrong
for you.
show.
I do too, but
She's on the wrong show. It's not.
No, I think we're talking about people who have grown up and basically have been given things. I see where she's coming from here.
Now I get it.
But
I'm not really sure about the communist side of things.
That's where I was a little confused. I want to unpack that.
I think Karen needs her own show.
Yeah.
Karen Unpacked. What do you think?
Karen Unpacked and Pat on Track. Where is Pat? He wasn't on our earlier show. What do you think he's doing?
I think he's taking a vacation.
Where?
He had to get away from all those old people down at the villages.
But where do you take a vacation from when you live
Buffalo,
in a vacation area?
Buffalo. You go to Buffalo.
DG says she's complaining about the owners. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. It could be.
Karen being a Karen?
It's hard not
No, that's definitely not a Karen.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Isn't that would it be horrible?
She's very angry in that statement.
Yeah.
And that's okay, Karen. Bring your anger to the porch.
Please drop a comment.
Let it out.
Drop an angry comment.
That's one of those things. How did that happen? Like, how did somebody arrive at Karen as sort of like?
Well, because
I knew
it's a play off the word caring.
Is
Karen, caring.
See,
yeah.
Are you sure?
Think about
that?
it. Yes.
Really?
Yes. It's a fake caring. It's a Karen.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Still doesn't
that sounds
make any
a little
sense.
made up.
Yeah, it actually sounds.
If you wanted an answer, I gave it to you. If you don't like it, then make up your own.
Is that what your college age children told you?
Yeah.
No, it's what my own brain told me, which you should be very suspicious.
Yeah.
Of.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would say that I have known very closely a Karen in my life, Schwaber, and I mean, I can understand.
That's not right. Not right.
I think Amy really wants to know if you're Matt Canada.
I know.
I think we have to answer this question for Amy.
Let's do this right now. Okay, listen, guys. For those of you who are with us a lot, and we really appreciate it. And if you're listening on the podcast, we're going to have to describe it, or if you're listening on Radio PGH, we'll have to describe it. But if you're watching on social media or on YouTube after the fact, our fan DG, he's a super fan. Our friend DG. Super friend. That's horrible. That's a horrible play.
Super friend. Yeah. No, you can't say super friend, because then everybody wants to go to the Wonder Twins.
That's right.
That just goes down a rabbit hole.
Wow.
You don't get out.
Friend of the program.
Yeah.
You just don't get out of that rabbit hole.
Our Wonder Twin super friend DG was kind enough to send us some outfits. He thinks we don't dress appropriately for the podcast.
Well, I think he was really
For the
sending
show.
them for Halloween.
I know he was. I know, but I think he really wants us to wear them all the time. So anyway, I am the technical director. So of course you can see, I got my nerd glasses on and my shirt. And what I was checking out here was
I love the pocket
all the
protector.
stuff in my pocket. It looks like I have a calculator, a water bottle, a banana, a pen, an extra pair of glasses, and a wrist
watch.
and a fake Rolex. So I am the ultimate.
You got to have
nerd.
an extra pair of glasses in your pocket.
Yes,
That's for sure.
Yes.
But the better outfits are.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the better outfits. Well, let's get all three of us up here first. So there it is. We have on the left Hockey Jesus. We have in the middle the Grand Schwabini, who is really rubbing his lamp out there.
He's good at rubbing it.
And then we have me, the technical director, the nerd, on the right. And I got to tell you, I got this letter. It's too long to read on the broadcast, but I got this fantastic letter from DG explaining, how to do this, because obviously we needed instructions on how to get our uniforms on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just wonderful. So DG, I got to tell you, you continue to amaze me. Thank you so much,
David. The hockey walking stick is incredible. I love it.
And basically what DG was saying, and I'll take that down, what DG was saying was that our fans have been clamoring for us to get out into public again. We haven't done that yet. And yes, I had to cancel Thursday night, some unforeseen circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this Sunday or
okay.
Yeah. And of course, DG says he thinks we should all wear them out when representing the Sports Porch, since your popularity is exploding. I'm not sure about our popularity.
I don't know about that. We could lose popularity.
But if
we are exploding. He is right about the exploding part.
If you listen to the pregame show, I think we had a conversation about exploding. But anyway,
okay.
So, but no, he basically said we need to get out. We need to get out in public. We need to mingle with our adoring friends, and we're going to do that, DG. Don't you worry, and we'll make sure to fill you guys in on that. So,
by the way, in the back of my my cape, it does say the Grand Schwalbe.
The Grand Schwalbe.
It's pretty classic.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the Mark's magic lamp.
No. This magic lamp is for me when I make my prediction.
That's
Hey, Brad, welcome.
Brad is in the house.
Glad to see you made it back to Minnesota. I assume you did.
Thanks to DG, you guys can compete for the title of men that fashion forgot. Listen, we already won that title.
Oh yeah, fashion.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've come to the wrong place for fashion.
Long time ago. Yeah, long time ago. So I got another question. And
can we talk some Broderick Jones, for God's sake?
Well, yeah, okay. Let's do that.
Let's talk Broderick Jones.
Yes.
Start us off, Steve.
And by the way, let me remind you guys that you can always grab the podcast of Sports Porch on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. And we'd love for you to subscribe to the show so you get the new episodes. Leave us a review. We'd really love to hear or read a bunch of those. And of course, on Radio PGH, which is coming soon. And Steve, we do have a line open if anybody wants to call in, 412-805-7236. Amy has one more comment. DG, can you believe I have to live with the Grand Schwabini?
we don't believe it, Amy.
Yeah, actually.
Sometimes you hit the jackpot.
We were the original livers.
I'm not gonna, yeah, that's right.
We spent our 4 years, Amy. You get the rest.
You guys taught me how to clean dishes. Thank you.
We actually did.
They did. Yeah.
That is true.
Does she know the story?
Oh yeah, I've told her.
Oh yeah.
Well, how did you tell it?
I told her that I didn't know that you had to use hot water instead of cold water.
Yeah, that was
one of the big ones.
Soap on the sponge.
That was
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know about the soap on the sponge?
Well,
no, I knew about you use soap, but you had that contraption where the soap was in the sponge.
Yeah.
I wasn't, that wasn't
you couldn't figure that out.
That was one that, in my house growing up, I had never been in that situation.
That's true. It's damn true.
So who washed the dishes in your house? Your mom, right?
And we had a dishwasher.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. And how much did you pay the dishwasher? Come on, Schwab.
That's wrong.
Could you speak the dishwasher's language?
No,
Well,
he means like
the-
an automatic
I know what it
dishwasher.
means.
The first one spoke Jamaican.
There you go.
Thus
Please,
his love of
please.
reggae.
Yes,
It all makes
yes,
sense.
yes,
It all comes
yes.
down to
Where the
Bob Marley.
came
Yeah.
from.
One
Aren't you guys glad that I
dish.
introduced that to you?
One.
See,
That was more
reggae.
Scarlata.
That was
Yeah,
a
and it-
payback.
That was Scarlata.
That was payback.
That was Scarlata.
no, he liked somebody else.
He liked Black Uhuru.
Yeah, no, there was somebody else.
Peter
Peter
Tosh.
Tosh.
Yes,
yeah,
Peter Tosh.
he was Peter
The
Tosh.
He was a
Surgeon General warns.
See what happens when we get distracted. It just goes. We're down an alley.
Your health. Legalize marijuana. 30 years later.
Right here in Jamaica.
Can I talk about Broderick Jones?
I know. I'm queuing up the ticker for it. So that was a
They
perfect.
say it cure the coma, man.
What the hell?
They say it cure glaucoma.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'm the bush doctor. Yeah. All right.
okay,
Broderick
that's
Jones.
Good enough.
Broderick
Good enough.
Jones.
Yeah. Should
Broderick
Broderick
Jones.
Jones
So-
start the rest of the year, and should he start on the right side?
Well, I think he should have started 6 games ago.
Right.
But that I'm not the head coach, so I can't do that.
But I think everybody agrees with you on that.
Well, yeah.
I would say 99%. There's some yinzer out there who's like,
I just don't believe that like suddenly they realize like Chuks Okafor isn't very good and they had to make a change like this week.
Yeah.
Like that just blows my mind because it was clear when he was in, he was better than Dan Moore, who they still think is better, who isn't.
Right.
And then they put him on the right and he does just as good.
Yeah.
And he does way better than
Yeah.
Chuks ever could.
And what exactly did Chuks really do to get himself?
Well, he's been with it once again, it's a loyalty thing with
Right.
Tomlin, right?
Mhm.
Right.
He's played pretty much every position on the offensive line because years ago they were injured and he would just move in and out. And he's good to come in for a couple plays. He's not good as a starter. And that's what Tomlin fails to see. Like there are guys that need to be in there for like 10 or 12 plays. There are guys that need to be in there all the time.
Mhm.
And Broderick Jones needs to be in there all the time. He opens up holes with the running game. He's a great pass protector. So it's clear to me that Broderick Jones is definitely as advertised. And I'm
Right.
finally happy to say he's going to be starting the rest of the season.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I thought to me, and I'll let you go in just a sec, Schwaber.
Okay.
I'm
on hold.
to me, he was drafted to be the left tackle,
Well, he was.
arguably the most important position on the line
Mhm.
with the center, but really the quarterback's blind side.
Yep.
And so, why is he the right tackle?
Because Dan Moore Jr. sucks at anything but left tackle.
Okay.
Right.
That's the
That
problem.
makes
And sometimes that's okay. Like when
Yeah.
when the Eagles drafted Lane Johnson, the idea was they had Jason Peters at left tackle, and
Right.
the idea was he would play on the right side and then eventually move on over.
It's not going to matter.
But then they just realized, you know what, you're really good at right tackle. Let's just keep you there.
Gotcha.
So they could do that, or they could move him over next year.
yeah, and I'm not worried about it. I'm just happy to see he's
Right.
out there.
Well, he makes a
He's-
difference.
He's getting the reps. He makes a difference. He did make a boneheaded play with the unsportsmanlike conduct. By the way, I never saw a replay on that.
Yeah,
I know
didn't
his
either.
helmet got knocked off,
Mhm.
and then I think he went after somebody after his helmet got knocked off, and always the second person gets the
Right.
flag. And I think that's all it
Hey
was.
guys, something we might have
Still, he can't do that in the future.
yeah, something we might have forgot about because the game was played on Thursday. But what do you guys think of Canada on the sideline?
I thought that was actually a good move.
I thought that was a very good move. I
Yeah.
mean, the bottom line is when you're up there in the sky, I mean, you can't bond with the team.
That's
you know,
I
like,
agree.
he's in there fighting with the guys and talking to multiple guys besides just the quarterback. I thought that was a big difference.
I think it was a huge difference. Do I think it's going to change him and the way he calls his offense? Honestly, I don't know, because
Yeah. it's
what
hard to
you're
say.
what you're looking at is exactly what you were talking about, Schwaber. He's the eye in the sky. He's got he's got a hotline basically to one guy on the field, versus now you're on the field calling the plays, and you not only are you able to talk to more players and explain your concepts if they're not running them correctly, you're also able to hear the chatter behind your back. which is important because as players come off the field, they're talking.
Mhm.
Like that was the worst play we could have run, or it comes off different than that.
Yeah.
But I think that if they keep him on the sideline, which I can't imagine they wouldn't do, I hope he doesn't go back in the box. But if he stays on the sideline now, then this will be the last chance he has. I think because to tell a coordinator, I don't think he decided to do that. I think Tomlin told him to do that.
I do too.
Yeah, either that or because the Roonies don't get involved. But
No.
I agree with you. I think he was told he needs to be down on the field.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I believe you're right about that. And I do think it was a good move. You want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Sure.
What's that?
Because I know you love a
I
conspiracy
love
theory.
him.
Sure.
I love him.
I actually think he got moved down because he got demoted. He's not really calling the plays anymore, and somebody upstairs is actually calling the plays, and he's just kind of managing the game on the
I
field.
see. I think that's total BS.
It's conspiracy theory.
I heard.
Did you come up with that? or did you hear it?
I didn't hear that from anybody. I
All right.
just made that up right now.
No,
Oh, good.
actually, I
Good
heard.
one.
I did. That was out there because it was on the radio this week.
I didn't hear.
But Pompiani said that he was told from somebody, who's in the know in the Steelers locker room that is 100% false.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but I just love the conspiracy
Yeah.
theory.
But even even if it's 100% false,
Right.
which I think it is,
Right.
do you think? Let's pretend that it's actually 100% true. Do you think they would even tell Bob Pompiani, even the guy in the know?
No, they wouldn't
No
tell
way.
anybody. But
Right.
what it does is it makes Matt Canada rely on somebody upstairs to be able to see things. And maybe Canada wasn't seeing things the way this person is. And I think that's I don't know who that person is, but they probably have 2 or 3 people looking at different things. Like, hey, you look at Deontay, you look
Oh
at
yeah,
Pickens,
of course. They've got eyes all over
you,
them.
Right.
see what coverage they're in, see what they're doing with their rotations, and things like
Mhm.
that. He's got to rely on them now because he can't see any of it. I mean, he can pull out the pad just like the quarterback can, but it's way different than seeing it live. I think
It was
good move though.
It was a good move. I do agree. Last question before we do our NFL picks. Who is worse than Kenny Pickett? Quarterbacks in the AFC. Who is worse? I didn't want to ask who was better because you could rattle off Mahomes, Herbert, blah, blah, blah. Who's worse than Kenny Pickett?
In the AFC.
Gardner Minshew.
Right? Anybody in Cleveland?
I would say that
Deshaun Watson, yes.
You think he's worse?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'd say that's a draw at best. I'm gonna say Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. They're 5-3. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not CJ Stroud.
Nope.
Not Herbert.
How about the kid from Tennessee, Will Levis?
Too early.
Small sample
too-
size.
Small sample size. I would say Levis still look better than him.
Russell Wilson.
Better than Russell Wilson.
You think he's better than Russell? Wilson's having a good year.
He is actually having a good year.
Yeah, he's having a good
He's
year. He's
kinda
just on a
bounced
terrible team. I
back a
disagree
little
with
bit.
that.
Yeah.
Better than Desmond Ritter.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Sure.
Amy says Joey Porter Jr. is too handsy. I don't remember
I
us
love his
talking about
handsy.
Joey Porter Jr. But thanks, Amy. Who is worse?
I'd say it's a draw with Mac Jones.
Yeah, now you got to remember when Mac Jones,
Yeah,
his
his whole
rookie year,
first
it was
year
a
he
top
played
10
well.
offense.
Yeah, he played well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess he's beneath.
Yeah, Mac Jones is definitely lesser.
Oh. All right. How about in the NFC?
Tony DeVito.
Right? That's easy. Whoever the hell he
Or
is.
you could even say Daniel Jones at this point.
Yep.
Yep.
Sam Howell.
No, Sam Howell's better.
Sam Howell is much better.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield,
No, Baker Mayfield's
Probably
better.
not. Probably not.
Tannehill. Oh, we didn't. We
Well,
skipped
he's
over
not-
him.
he's not-
I'd say
started.
the number one pick.
CJ Stroud.
Not CJ Stroud. The other
Or,
one.
geez, Bryce Young.
Yeah,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young is worse than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
David Carr.
No.
Every single quarterback on the Arizona Cardinals roster but Kyler Murray.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's a good one I heard.
Dobbs.
Did you hear this on the radio today?
Yeah, I know the guy said he likes
Yeah,
Dobbs.
yeah, Dobbs better. And I'm
I'd say
thinking you're
it's,
nuts.
Probably not.
At best, I would put them even.
What about the guy for the
Jordan Love?
the guy backing up on the
Jordan
Bears?
Love, he's better than Jordan Love.
Badgett.
Badgett.
Yeah.
He's better than Badgett.
Isn't there a guy like Tommy Toon or something?
That's that. Yeah, that's the Cardinals.
He's also a very well-known Broadway performer,
Backup singer.
Tommy Two-Tone.
Yeah. DG, he is certainly grand. Oh, he's replying to Amy's comment. Can you believe I've delivered the grand Schwabini? He is certainly grand, and his sense of humor cracks me up. He's a good sport for wearing the turban and cape.
Better than Aiden O'Connell.
My letter to the porch did say that the magic lamp was for you when you need to summon him. Does Amy summon you?
Good
Are you
luck
summoned?
with that.
I've been summoned before.
Does she say put down that soap-filled sponge and turn off the cold water and come to me?
No. That's a no.
All right. I mean, you could have said something, Mark.
For our listening audience that isn't watching, I'm just shaking my head.
Yes, right. There you go. Just
Shaking my head.
Let's get the picks.
keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Let's get the picks.
All
Put them
right.
up. Where are we on the year?
All right.
Is it the Grand Schwabini leading the way?
Yes, it is. The Grand Schwabini is 17-7. He was 2-1 last week. Steve was 2-1. He's now 14-10 on the year.
Different to him.
And Chris always pulls out one win. And I'm saying some dangerous things tonight. And I am now 9-15. So
yeah,
these are our picks. What is your pick? The first game, the Thursday night game, the best game of the year, and probably the most important game on Thursday night football of all time. The Panthers at the Bears.
The Grand Schwabini says the Bears.
All right, HJ, what do you got for us?
I'm not going to overthink this because if I do, I'll end up with the Panthers. So I'm just going to go with the Bears.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to go with the Panthers because I'm all in it. So I'm either all in or I'm all out. And right now I'm all out. So, okay. Sunday night, we probably have the second greatest game ever in the history of primetime football. The Jets at the Raiders. What has the Grand Schwabini got cooking up there?
The Grand Schwabini says the Raiders.
All right, Mark. Steve-O.
I'm going with the Jets because I think they're going to lose tonight against the Chargers.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to win.
Okay.
And I think they can beat the Raiders. The Raiders aren't that good.
Yeah. And Chris is going with the Jets as well. And our pick'em game for Sunday is the 49ers at the Jaguars.
Ooh, this is a really good
This is
Schwabini, could you rub that one out for us?
This is
Please.
a really good one. The Grand Schwabini says,
It takes him a long time to rub that lamp.
is it a bird turd or is it sunshine? It's the Jaguars.
My God. DG, I'm not sure if you cursed us or added a very entertaining segment to the show. All right, Mark.
It's a blessing and a curse.
The
says
Grand
hockey
Schwabini
Jesus.
has the Jaguars. All right.
I'm going with the 49ers. I don't think they're going to lose 4 in a row.
And I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. All right. Next, what we have coming up, if you're listening on the podcast, again, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your freaking podcasts. And there is more to my costume, but that's going to come in the spring.
Yes, it will.
Please remember to subscribe and leave us a review. And obviously, you can catch us on radiopgh.com if you're driving in the car. It's really that simple. We'll have an app for that. Amy May says, I will be taking that lamp off of him. I know.
Thank you, Amy. We really appreciate that.
She's dreading that.
I don't think he's bringing it home, by the way.
We're going to move to a part of our show here where we talk about hockey Jesus, and we will now introduce, Schwaber, you're going to want to pay attention to this. We will now introduce Hockey Jesus. That's for you.
I like
DG.
that.
That
I
is
like that a
beautiful.
lot.
Absolutely. Praying to the hockey gods. You can catch Hockey Jesus on the podcast after every Penguins game. That is the Sports Porch podcast. Anywhere you get your podcasts, every single game, 5 to 10 minute game recap. Doing a good job, man. Bringing the music in. Sounds good.
Finally got the music down. It
Yep.
takes a little while to get that intro music going because it can last a while. So you want to talk over some of it, but not all of it.
Yeah, but it helps you.
It does. Yeah, get you going for sure.
So Hockey Jesus is preaching now. And if you have any comments on the Penguins and the state of the franchise at this point, you can always call us at 412-805-7236. We do have a line open.
Only positive comments, please.
Preach, Jesus.
So here's the deal with the Penguins. They finally got off the slide. They got fortunately they got to play against San Jose. San Jose is 0-10-1.
Oh, they did have a tie.
Yeah, they had they do have 1 point.
Okay.
And they actually, I think, got that in the first game.
It's good for them. And that is where Carlson came from.
It is where Carlson came from and everybody else. Look, all you need to know about San Jose is Mikael Granlund, who we cursed on this team when we got him from the former GM, whose name shall not be spoken on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say it. Don't say it. And anyway, he plays on their first power play unit.
Right.
That's all you need to say. Mikael Granlund is on their first line on their first power play unit. That's how terrible they are.
Okay.
So, and they are terrible, but it is always good to get a win. It was the second game in a row San Jose gave up 10 goals.
Yeah.
10 goals.
Yeah.
They gave up 10 goals 2 nights the night before.
Do you know how many goals, the most amount of goals scored by one team in the NHL's history?
Of course I do.
Yeah. How many?
16.
Oh my God. Were you listening to our show earlier? Or did you already know that?
Come on. Hockey Jesus. I know all things hockey.
All right, go for it.
I forget who it was though.
Yeah, 1920s, something like that.
Oh, well then it had to be one of the big six. Probably somebody from Montreal.
It wasn't Mario.
He could score 16 goals.
You think so?
Against San Jose, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But here's the deal. The Penguins are still in last place in the Metro. Well, technically they are, but they have a few games in hand on some teams that are above them. But we're not looking at the standings yet. We're really not thinking about the position just because I said we have to give the first 20 games. And I actually predicted in the first 20 games, they get somewhere between 16 and 18 points. And right now they're sitting at 8 after 11. So actually after 10 games. So they're sitting about right where I thought they would be. I know they were going to get off to a slow start. I still think they have some things they need to figure out. Way too many cross ice passes. Their power play still is not clicking well. So they got to figure out some things with Anaheim, and Anaheim's red hot, by the way.
Right.
Since they beat the Penguins, they've won their last 3. They actually beat Vegas Golden Knights and are sitting right behind them for first place in the Western Conference. So Anaheim is actually a really good team for them to be playing right now because they have some emotion because they lost in the last seconds after having a 5-on-3 power play. Which was just awful to watch, but that's what the Penguins need to figure out. They are getting great third line chemistry with Zahorna now on that line, and for the first time ever, as a Pittsburgh Penguin, Jeff Carter got a healthy scratch on the fourth line. They bring in good old Vinny Hinostroza, and he scores a goal. It was actually a really nice goal too. It was definitely something that Carter could have never even thought of scoring 3 years ago. So I think that the Penguins are starting to get it back together, but they're still going to have to play a disciplined game against Anaheim. They're still going to have to get more traffic in front of the net. They're still lacking all of those things. I didn't see very much of that in the San Jose game. And Rickard Rakell has no goals yet for the season, which is pretty shocking because the guy is a scoring machine. So I think once he gets going, I think that's going to help. But let's face it. I mean, Riley Smith has just been incredible on that second line. So I think he's sucking up a lot of the energy there, which is fine. I'm okay with that. If Rakell's not scoring, but Smith is, or Gino's scoring, I have no problem. I can't fault Rickard Rakell for not scoring a goal.
Does it worry you that, I mean, it's 10 games into the season. It's an 82 game season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're 1/8 of the year.
Right.
0.125 for you decimal freaks.
Good enough. 4-6 at the bottom of the Metro, 8 points. I mean,
Nope.
it really doesn't worry
Well,
you.
look, they played 10 games. The Flyers, who were ahead of them by 3 points, have 2 games. They played 12 games. So if they win the next 2, they're already over 2 teams.
Understood.
And one of them is
Understood.
Columbus, who started out a little hot. So the Flyers, they'll regress to the bottom. The Penguins are not a bottom dweller. Definitely aren't.
Okay. And I'm not assuming that they are. I'm just looking at it from the start to the season. Now, DG chimes in. That final goal scored by Anaheim was a gut punch that ended up waking my neighbors.
Yeah, you want to watch your language around your neighbors.
Yeah, and you should watch hockey games alone too, DG.
If you ever want to hear some nice language, you should stop over the Hockey Jesus household. There's always some F bombs flying.
The unbelievable. Really?
It's hard to say. Yeah,
Jesus would do that.
I did.
I was watching a hockey game that wasn't even the Penguins game, and I was screaming.
Is this correct? Did they lose a game by 1 goal and like the other team scored shorthanded on a 5-on-3 with like a little 5 seconds left or something?
Yeah, that's the Anaheim game.
That was a big F bomb.
And I didn't throw an F bomb with that one, just because I saw it coming, actually, to be honest with you. Because what they are doing with the power play, even on the 5-on-3, is it's pass, shoot, block shot. They clear it, and then the guy was coming out of the penalty box. So actually, it would have been a 5-on-4 that they scored on, but it was still a shorthanded, and there were like 5 seconds left. Yeah, it definitely is a gut punch. I think for a team that's like thinking, okay, we're going to score 5-on-3, we're going to win 4-3,
right,
and everything's going to be okay, and then that happens, and then you're just like, what just happened?
Sometimes that happens in hockey, though.
It does. But the Penguins bring a lot of it on themselves, just because they're afraid to get to the net. They need to definitely get to the net. And if they don't get if they don't block Johnny Whitehall's vision tomorrow night, they're not going to score any goals against him. He's a really good goalie.
Mm-hmm. What were you putting up there?
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring back a segment of headlines that mean something. I wanted to surprise you guys with that, but I just want to make sure that Hockey Jesus has finished up his sermon for the evening.
Well, the thing you have to look for is they've got 2 more games on the West Coast, at Anaheim, at LA, and then Buffalo's in town on the weekend. I'm hoping that they split the Anaheim LA. They win 1, they lose 1. And the Buffalo game for me is the game that I'm really going to be watching. Buffalo is definitely going to be one of those teams they're going to have to jump over to get into a playoff spot. They're young. They score a lot of goals, and they like to play a physical game. So I think that game's going to be real fun to watch, and that's Saturday night.
Is that the team that has that like Trent Troughton?
No, they have Tage Thompson. He's like
it. That's
6. Yeah, he's 6'4".
Yeah,
he's really fast. I mean,
he's really good.
I don't want to say he reminds me of Lemieux, but his size does. His hands definitely don't. But he plays a big game, but yet he's very skilled for a big guy.
He's a real good player.
He is. But they've got some other players too. But yeah. So that's it from the Hockey Jesus.
All right, we got the Ducks coming up tomorrow night. Are you gonna make it through that game?
Oh yeah, I'll have a couple extra cups of coffee. Actually, I'm glad, because on Tuesdays I don't really start watching hockey till 9 o'clock, so I can come home, have a cup of coffee, and relax and get ready for the pregame.
All right, we'll look for the Hockey Jesus preaching on the podcast after every Penguins game on the Sports Porch, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. Okay, guys, headlines. It means I saw this a couple days ago, and this is courtesy of Fox News. These are some of the strange objects that get stuck in people's bodies, per the CDC.
Okay.
I thought that was hilarious.
I'm scared of what this could be.
It starts off with magnets.
Mm-hmm. I can believe that.
Chargers. Lollipops.
I had a lollipop today.
That seems normal, though.
And
Wouldn't the lollipop just dissipate?
wait a minute. Lollipops getting stuck in people's bodies seems normal to
they're in
you?
your mouth to begin
your
with. All
mouth-
you have to do is accidentally swallow it.
I'm not sure that's what they're referring to, but okay. Well,
What, you stick your lollipop up your nose?
You're saying it's entered the body in a different area.
Like
Yes,
you stick it up
how
your
does it get
nose?
Or
stuck?
maybe they're not, but that's where your head was.
Yes. Lollipops and orange peels are just some of the surprising objects.
Orange peel doesn't surprise me. I mean, a lot of people bite right into that orange.
Yes.
Sometimes I suck on an orange peel after my old fashioned's done.
That's funny. Does it ever get stuck in your body parts?
Not yet, but now I'm going to be weary of it.
Okay.
I'm going to stay away from that orange peel.
Foreign objects being stuck in strange places is predictable at number 9 when you consider that more than half are sex toys.
Oh, an orange peel can be a sex
yeah.
toy.
But there's also the factor of people
What is that?
absent mind. What is what?
Looks
That
like
picture.
looks like
Yeah.
a silver
Is that a
dollar.
magnet?
Yeah. There's also the factor of people absent-mindedly poking themselves with objects, especially in the nose, ears, and mouth.
Did you
Yeah.
ever stick a pencil up your nose?
Come
on.
I can't remember ever doing that.
No,
No.
not even like middle school. You got bored. Just was like, wonder how far this will go.
You really did that? You did that?
I'm asking the question. I didn't say I did it.
Well, I mean, usually
A question means an answer. Then you can
Yeah.
ask a
yeah.
question
Have
back.
you ever stuck a pencil up your nose?
Well, are you going to answer the question?
No, I never have.
No.
Okay, great.
Doesn't
Yeah.
that almost in the
Well,
in
that's
the
not true. I
lower
did, but
right-hand
not very
corner,
far.
Does that almost look like Steve like hugging his grandmother in the lower right hand corner?
My
Stop
grandmothers
looking
are
at the
dead.
ads. Okay,
Thanks, Mark. My grandmothers are dead.
some of the items
Maybe in the afterlife.
it's
Q-tips.
in December 2022, a blogger on Defector listed some of the specific foreign objects found in the CPSC database, classified by orifice. Some of the items that were lodged in people's ears included a cufflink, wet tissues, a plastic sword, an insect, a rock, a lollipop, a charger, a piece of ice cream cone, a push pin, a pencil eraser, and I love this one, a battleship game piece.
The
Ooh.
submarine, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice and smooth.
You
It would
sent
go
my
right in.
battleship.
There you go.
I would not want to put the destroyer in my ear.
Yeah.
That would hurt.
Liquid items placed in the ear included shoe glue, lighter fluid, candle wax, and hydrogen peroxide.
That's people just trying to clean out their ears.
Yeah.
Some of the foreign
wrong
objects.
way.
Some of the foreign objects put into noses included gum wrappers, a used match,
Come on,
magnets
pencil. Come
in
on,
your
pencil.
nose, rice, candy hearts, yarn, jewels. I mean, gummy worms, orange peels, and an LED light.
Pencils didn't make the list, huh?
Flowers, cheese, popcorn kernels, and glue. I mean, what do people not stick in their nose? The unintentional
Pencils,
swallowing
I
of
guess.
items. So in some of the ingested foreign objects, a steak knife. This is in your mouth, Schwaber. A steak knife, a small flash.
Small flashlight just to see what's down there.
They were looking.
Hey, I lost my magnet. Is it down there?
A glue stick. Wait a minute. A glue stick, pet toys, coins.
Pet
I love
toys?
this. This is so general. Office supplies. Does that include like a ream of paper?
The same could be said of,
No.
of
I know.
pet toys. Pet toys is pretty broad category.
I know. Cigarettes, aluminum foil, hair clips, keys, and darts. Oh, now here it is. Here's the genitalia comments. For men, some of the foreign objects included sex toys, beads, paper clips, ouch, coins, a car key, a pencil, a nail, a ceiling fan chain. What I first read was a ceiling fan before I got the chain. Like, how did you do that? A cell phone charger and a wooden spoon. For women, in case you're wondering, some items included coins, a screw.
Oh,
Wait.
man.
That's normal.
It gets better. A pen, a drumstick. Now, would that be a chicken drumstick? or a flashlight, a drinking cup, a golf ball, a nail polish bottle, and even a spatula for those. What was that movie?
Oh no, that was an egg beater.
Yeah, no, the spatula. Stripes for those Stripes fans out there.
I was thinking an egg beater for what was that? A bachelor party.
Yeah, bachelor party. Now, but here's the thing.
Tawny Katane.
Think about the male genitalia. Like they weren't talking about rectum. So all that stuff was in the special place.
There you go.
Some of the items that were placed in rectums included, of course, sex toys, spoons, magnets, bottles, crowns, wrenches, action figures,
A vegetable peeler.
candles. Hold
Like
on.
that thing.
People are aggressive.
This is the best one. A fishing pole.
A fishing pole.
A fishing pole.
Very
You got to
small.
get that ice cream cone out of there.
A fishing pole
Probably a miniature fishing pole.
is very long. So
A
how?
miniature fishing pole.
But the guy walks into the emergency room.
Oh yeah.
With a fishing pole
Yeah.
sticking out of his ass. What?
Yeah, Doc, I got a fishing pole up my.
It,
It
was a fishing accident. They happen all the time. I hope it didn't have the hook on the
God.
end. That's all I gotta say for that
it was
person.
done on purpose, but it wasn't done on
Yeah.
purpose.
I guess I didn't catch that one. I caught me a bass and it was anyway.
I
So
mean, I love the guy and I want to kill him too.
all right,
Oh,
guys.
my goodness.
And that's about it. I can't do it anymore.
Wow.
We didn't expect this.
Off the rails tonight, boys.
We got a lot of comments.
tonight.
Jeff, thanks for being here. Kiki, girls stuck in your nose. A popsicle stuck splint. I've actually seen tricks with ping pong balls. Steelers Freak on YouTube, a copy of Canada's Playbook. We missed that one.
A good one.
Ron Popiel, Pocket Fisherman.
Pocket fishing.
All right. Thank you for watching the Sports Porch all over the world on social media, Facebook, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, and of course, listening on radiopgh.com. We're going to download the podcast. We're going to drop it right after the show anywhere you get your podcasts. And you can always visit us at theporchislive.com. Theporchislive.com.
Theporchislive.com.
I am your technical director, and I am out. See you next week.